Today, in the wood yard, I got a big saw. I don't know how it got here. Some guy from Illinois must have brought it. So today, I have a visitor. Craig is here, and he is from the land of Illinois, the land of Lincoln, correct?
That is correct.
Did you grow up in a log cabin like Abe?
No.
Oh, that's good. But you do stuff in the woods.
Yes, I do.
And you do sell firewood.
Yes, I do.
And you bought a saw up here in God's country.
That is correct.
How far away was this?
For me, it was about 7 hours and 37 minutes. Took a little bit longer because I had a few stops.
About 7 hours and 37 minutes.
Yeah.
But so this wasn't just south of me here is where you got it, right?
Yeah, I got it at, there was a shop here in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, about 24 minutes away from your shop here.
Yeah.
And they were consigning this from the original owner.
So this is, for those of you, there's guys that know, this is the big boy. What is it? What do we got here?
We have a Stihl MS 880. It's got a 25-inch bar. It's a 404 chain.
And is the wrap, this is standard?
That wrap was actually put on. It had the regular handle on there. They put a full wrap on it.
And so you bought this because you want to do what with it?
I have a couple family members that would like to have slab wood cut out of some trees from the family farm.
So you're going to do work?
Yep.
Nice. So you bought this because you need a big saw to do that, because you're going to put on how big of a bar?
I'm planning on putting on a 4-foot bar. I haven't decided on if I'm going to go with like a steel bar or they have some other ones online, eBay, that are a little bit cheaper. Forrester's one that I looked at. I just haven't decided yet on what bar I'm going to get. It came, like I said, with a 25-inch bar, and that's where, you know, I decided with the tree that I need to cut with for slabs, it's a 44 by 46 diameter slab. And with a 25-inch bar or 36-inch, when you're cutting them, it doesn't actually cut straight when you're going from side to side. I can't get it. I've tried it before. I can't get it to cut straight. So
you need a bigger bar, bigger saw.
Yeah, and just make a straight cut through it.
So you must be a manly man to be able to run this thing, because this thing is heavy. It's like lifting 2 saws at one time.
It's a boat anchor.
Yeah. So now, the reason you bought this, obviously you want to do the slab wood, and the reason you didn't buy a new one, because a brand new one goes for what?
Right now, the standard price 25-inch bar is like $19.29. When you start adding the bigger bars, $36, $41, $59. That saw with the chain can run up to $2,600, $2,700. Right now, what people are doing, I've seen online on eBay, there's not many 881s out there. A person is buying them and then turn around and reselling them for a profit because they're just not out there, just like they're hard to get, like the 500i.
And so you got this, and when you get your bar you're going to put on there and get it all set up the way you want, what are you going to have into it altogether?
When I get everything into it, I should be around $1,400, $1,500 all said and done.
So about half price.
Yeah, my friend back home has an Alaskan sawmill, so I don't have to pay for that.
Nice.
He's going to let me borrow it. But the bar and chain is not cheap.
Yeah, yeah, nothing's cheap. So this is the MS 880, and now there's the 881, correct?
That's correct.
And what's the difference? It's just a new model?
There's newer model. The 881 is still manual. You can manually tune it. I don't know a lot about the 881s as far as like the difference on the CCs and stuff like that. Pretty much the weight differential is about the same, maybe just a slightly.
Do you know what it weighs?
That I do not. It's just heavy. I'm guessing probably around 26.
I was going to say it's
27 pounds.
It's got to be pushing 30 pounds. So there's those guys in the channel that will tell us to the gram what it weighs, because
somebody will be looking it up.
Somebody will know. And what does it have for CCs?
I think it's around 129 cc.
That's what I was going to guess, right around 130.
You know, without looking it up,
right.
I do have 2 MS 660s, which people say they're comparable to the 500i. But I have yet to find a 500i.
I've run them. They're nice saws, but they're not. They don't give those away either. But yeah, this is a really nice saw, and I think when you get done, you're going to be real happy. It's definitely a beast. I mean, when you want to cut, this is going to cut, and it'll cut everything you want. Like you're talking about having problems cutting hedge.
Hedge, yeah. Hedge.
Osage orange for some
yeah.
people. Yeah, that's like cutting steel, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And you cut some just not too long ago, didn't you?
Yeah, 2 days ago, or actually yesterday, I got released from the doctor. I'm doing a lot better. Most of you know on the channel, Back 40 live stream, I had COVID-19 and pneumonia, which put me in the hospital.
Nice.
I just got released yesterday, starting back in February to do cutting and going back to my regular job.
I'm glad you're feeling better, because tomorrow you're coming back, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm coming back.
I'm going to put them to work out there. Now, when you contacted the people, you had no idea what this was going to be, and you wanted to make sure you weren't buying something that was all beat up and or a lemon, for that matter. So what did you do to make sure that you were going to get the right tool?
So when I was contacting them about it, I like to show up in person and bring tools along to check out the saws, to be able to see what needs to be done to it. If you never know what you're really getting after somebody using it.
Right.
It's not like brand new where you're getting a new saw.
Right. Well, anything with a small engine. And
yeah.
You never know if they've driven it through a swamp or dropped it in lake, whatever. Used it as a boat anchor, which this would make a good boat anchor. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So what did you bring along? What do you got to make sure it's going to be what you wanted?
One of the things that I brought along was a compression tester kit.
Nice.
It is a Nova part number 3614, just a compression tester. You can do multiple things with it, so that's why I got it. I work on a little bit different things back home, so it works well for what I need.
So for those that want to know how to do this, we're going to show you. We're going to actually show you the compression test they did, so you know what you got here. So let's do that next.
So first off, whenever I go to look at chainsaws, I pop the cover off, which is what I'm going to do now. And then I go ahead and pull the spark plug wire off, and which is located right here. And I'm going to use a needle nose because this one's, kind of tight. And after I get this done and pulled off, I will then pull the spark plug and run the compression tester.
Yeah, it's in a bad spot. So would it be better if you took this cover off too, or you can't?
No.
Oh, okay.
You can, but I'm not going to go into that detail. Now I'm going to use my scrunch to pull the spark plug. Most of you guys have these. If you're like me, you should paint it orange because I've lost a few.
I got something for you.
Pink.
There you go. There's a roll of pink tape right back there. I'll put some pink tape on it for you. Yeah, I drop them in the whiz all the time. I started doing it years ago because I lost a few things, man. So now I put a little piece of pink tape on everything, even my safety glasses. I'll drop them in the woods. A lot of times you can't see them.
See them, yeah.
Laying in the brush. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm really bad with dropping stuff in the woods.
This definitely needs to be cleaned out too.
Yeah. Do you got that in there?
Yeah, you can see it needs to be cleaned.
So, looking at the chainsaw, you understand why I'm doing all this work. As you look at the air filter, it is very dirty. Things that I look at when I'm buying a saw is the stuff original? Did some people like to replace the covers, replace the recoil? Some will go as far as replacing the brake chain and the outer cover of the sprockets and everything. I like to look at it as it is and see what I'm getting. That's why I do what I do with the compression. Also checking in the next area.
So now how do you get that tight enough? You just finger tight it is good enough?
Yeah, you don't need it real tight. You might have
there's no way to get a scrunch on that.
No.
Or a socket even for that matter.
So you just screw it in there and you get it tight, and then
if you got to go down to the ground to pull it, you can if it's easier for you.
Yeah, I think I will.
Yeah, just go right down on the carpet there. And
so here,
do you want to be able to reach? I can hold that if you want.
Yeah. So you just start pulling, and you make sure the decompression valve is down.
That's about
So right now,
almost 140.
we're about 140.
130 something, yeah.
I did it a couple times today, was around 140. Never got higher than 140.
And what are they, brand new, supposedly?
Stihl doesn't really have a set compression test when you ask them, but normally they are more or less around 145 to 150. I've seen them as high as 160 before on some of my friends that have these saws. The guy that's lending me his Alaskan mill.
So is that just a quick coupling on that?
Yeah.
That's not so quick. Oh, I see. It's got pressure. That's why.
Yeah.
And then you got different fittings in there too for different size of.
Yeah. So if you're working on a car or something else that has different fittings, there's as you can see in here, there's 4 other things. You can stick that. This is not as good, but I could have just hooked this thing up and shoved it in there. But I wanted a more accurate reading when you're buying this piece of equipment.
Yeah, because if you're spending $1,000, $1,500, whatever it is you're buying, you might as well know what you're getting. So yeah.
So I'll go ahead and put the spark plug back in, put everything back together.
So what are you going to do now?
So what I'm going to do now is, since this chainsaw came to me like this, the air filter, there's actually, I call like a cover filter that goes around here. As you can see right here, that's pretty caked. I'll probably end up ordering,
Your choke
picking up.
Come out?
No, choke's right here.
I know. Do you want it pulled out to close off?
Oh.
I mean, does it close off your?
No. I'm not.
There you go.
So,
Close it.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is blow this out just for now, and you know, like when I get back home, I'll just order a new one, and then there's a wrap that goes around there.
Yeah.
So
blow it out over here so you get it away from you.
What I'm using is canned air. You can get this at Walmart or Lowe's or whatever. And I take this with me to the field because some of the areas that I'm dealing with, you know, it gets dusty out there. And as you can see, this one is so caked I can't even...
Yeah, and you're almost out of air.
No, it's frozen.
Oh.
So, as you can see, it's really bad. It really needs to, you know, be cleaned a lot better. Like I said, I'm just going to buy a new one. The reason why I'm doing this on the video is to talk to you about when you're looking at stuff, you can look from the compression side or the carburetor side, the back side of the piston, to know if it's an air problem causing a piston score, or if it's a muffler problem, which could be, you know, it's running rich or running lean. So now I'm going to flip this all around, and I'm going to show you a little bit more in depth of what to look for if you're buying a used chainsaw from anybody. And I would strongly suggest that you take the time to look into it, unless you know the owner very well, which in this case I did not know the owner at all.
Right, right.
So what I'm doing now is I'm just taking the nuts loose off the muffler. There's 4 of them.
Do you want some gloves? You don't rip your hands up there?
I'm fine.
I saw you're already bleeding.
A little blood doesn't hurt in the wood yard.
Blood is normal, actually. Sweat and blood are common, very common.
So on the bottom ones, there's nuts with a little bit of washers, and they're
It decided to hide on you?
pain in the butt.
I've noticed with bigger saws, like my brother has that 395, everything about it is different than any other saw as far as the size, the number of screws, just everything. They're much different build than a smaller saw. Obviously because there's a lot of power, there's a lot of vibrations. So yeah, checking the muffler out, that's a very good idea. And for those of you wondering why he's doing this, I know, and I had a saw that lost compression. I took it in and they told me it wasn't worth anything, but they said it's worth a lot to me, so I decided to keep it because I've been taking parts off of it. But what he's going to do now is take the muffler off so you can check inside. You can actually see inside. Oh yeah, look at that. There it is. There's a...
So as you can see, as I'm pulling, the piston's going up and down. there's just a slight scoring.
Let's add some more light here. Let's see if I can get some more light in here.
So what I'm doing now is we're looking at the inside the muffler at the piston. As you can see, as I'm pulling it, you can see there's just a slight scoring in there, which means that eventually this saw will have to be, I'll probably have to put a new piston in there and possibly a new jug. But as of right now, it runs decent. It's got decent compression.
So is your plan just to keep using it until it needs it?
Yes.
Get as much as you can out of it?
Yeah, I'm going to get as much out of it as I can.
Go ahead and do that again, guys. We'd like to see the piston move. That's a manly kind of a thing. Look at that. There you go.
So now that I showed you what the piston looks like on the inside, I'm going to go ahead and put the muffler back on. You insert the muffler back in here. Only one way it can go on. Fits pretty tight.
I didn't look. Was there any kind of a gasket on there? I didn't even see.
Not on this one.
Okay.
When you pull the interior part of the muffler off, there is a copper gasket. Some people will put an aftermarket on there. Or if you want to put a new muffler on, you can contact Jason Egan, and he's got straight shots and bark boxes and all kinds of stuff. But me, these saws are loud enough. I don't need any extra noise. Right. And I'm not one of those. I like to get the performance out of it. They do add extra power, but when you're handling this saw out in the woods or doing what I'm going to be doing with it, mostly running slab wood, you don't need that extra power more than what it's already capable of.
Well, to me, I know there's a lot of guys that put the bark boxes on, that put aftermarket stuff on, and my hearing's bad enough already. The saw is loud enough. I don't need it any louder. I'm okay with a little less power and having hearing. That's just me, but I'm weird.
And with talking to you, Chris, I may have to invest in some extra earmuffs. I've seen people have the 3M earmuffs, and they're pretty good. I normally just buy those cheap earplugs, and I put them things on, and they do pretty well for me.
Yeah, I wear plugs and muffs all the time, and it makes a difference. If I try to get by with only doing one or the other, I regret it almost right away. I can hear the ringing in the ears, and so I really try to watch it, because once you lose it, it's gone. And now that I'm getting older, my kids are always complaining that I'm not listening. Well, it's because I can't hear. So now we were just looking at this bar and the teeth here, and we noticed that whoever sharpened it last used the smallest size diameter, because that's what fits in there. But the problem is the gullet is really small, and it's got this ridge right here on the top, which shouldn't even be there really, because they cut in with a small size bit or file, whatever they were using. And so now the top of the plate is actually sticking above this bit here. So what we're thinking we're going to do is we're going to take the bigger bit and grind down so we get this little ridge they got in there, so you get the gullet full-sized and then get the top plate, because we might not be able to even, well, I'm sure we can get it back to being sharp, but they weren't.
They weren't sharp at all.
And there's tips going on it too.
The rakers need to be taken down. They haven't been taken down.
Yep.
And just like if you guys run across anything like this, know that you can fix it. You don't have to throw out the chain. Some of you guys may not know, by looking at it, how to fix it. The gullet is a little bit deeper than normal, which we'll have to fix that. But
well, it's smaller and
smaller and deeper.
Yeah, it's like a real small gullet. And on a big drive chain like this, I mean, this is what you say. This is a 3/8, right?
This is a 404 chain,
yeah.
And 25-inch bar. But imagine if this was a 41-inch bar like that, it would take a lot longer to clear. Where you really should use the proper filing, the files, or in my case, just recently, I happened to come across a Stihl chainsaw electric sharpener, and that's what I'll be using. Chris here introduced me to the 8100 Dremel, and that's a good deal for me because all of my wood I cut out in the woods and I'm far from home and it's just me, so I would have to, I have the hand file, but if you hit a rock or something,
yeah, that's right. He's talking about this 8100 Dremel. It's got a battery pack that goes in it, so you can take it with you. So yeah, you're saying you hit a rock or barbed wire or a nail, which you're going to do.
Which in our case, the farm that I'm working at right now, my grandmother had 100 head of cattle, and there was a fence row, so you automatically know you're probably going to hit something. So whether you're you got a bench grinder at home, make sure they're sharp, take this Dremel with you, or some people like to take 3 chains to swap them out.
Yep.
That's probably the easiest.
Or just taking more saws. That was nice too. But
Yeah.
I think taking an extra chain or two is always a good idea.
Yeah.
But having the Dremel along, like the other day I hit a nail when I was out cutting, and it was nice to grab the Dremel and just kind of touch them up, because the one side where I hit the nail, they were all the teeth were rounded on it, and the other side was fine. And by grinding them down quick, and it's so much faster than filing.
Filing by
and
hand.
when you're out there and you're sweaty and wet and it's below zero, it's nice to go fast when you're standing there with the filing. So
Yeah, you don't want to be out there. I found out today when I came up here that it's a lot colder up here than it is back home, and I may have not have brought enough clothing, but we'll find out.
So what I'm going to do is I am going to remedy the very small filing job somebody did on this, and there's some that even look smaller than others. Some of them look really tiny on here. But I'm going to take this tool here. We're going to use the bit. I got a brand new bit on here, stone, and we're going to grind these, open them up, so when he's cutting, you get maximum amount of cut. So here we go. Time to cut. And the first thing I'm going to do, just like always, is we're going to mark a tooth. So we know that's the one we're starting, and I'm going to put some gloves on. I got my eye protection on. I've got earmuffs on, and we're going to cut away. So here we go. Let's see what happens.
Now, do you cut one side and then change the saw over?
Nope. You're going to see right now what happens. Just got to get this out here so I can get my cord. There we go. So make sure. Looks like it's airing about right. That's the size it should be.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
How long would that take you with a file?
That would take me a long time, especially on a 4-foot bar if it was like that.
This thing is going to cut now, I tell you. Look at the tip on that one. You see how rounded it is?
Yeah.
How's that?
Yep.
Pretty quick, isn't it?
A lot quicker than a hand file.
Oh, gosh, yes. And see, you get that edge, the white edge there?
Yeah.
And the people would say, well, it's got that rough edge, but that literally, it's gone.
Yeah.
And first, as soon as you start cutting, it'll
go away.
It's gone, yeah. All that is a little rollback. Oh, that one was bad. I could just feel it go down. See how fast I'm losing shape?
Yeah.
Because I'm cutting that big groove down below there. But we're getting close here. What'd you think of that?
Pretty quick and really efficient.
Yeah, that is, and take your hand and do this now. Just go like this. You can feel it. It's
Razor sharp.
yeah, you're ready to cut.
And before, when you did that, you couldn't even feel a point.
Not hardly, no.
On any of them.
So what we did is we just ground down that knob that was in there because of the small. They were using a little bitty bit like this. And now you can see look at how much bigger that cut is now.
Made a lot of world of difference.
When this thing goes to cut, it's going to be more aggressive. So I'm not going to take the rakers down.
Yeah.
You cut with it first, and then if you feel like you need to take it down, because they've never been taken down, I would maybe do one stroke on these. Let's just give a little quick see here. Yeah, it's sticking up I can actually feel it sticking up. I'll do one stroke on them for you, but I don't want to go too much because with this much power, with this sharp,
it can take a leg off real easy.
Yeah, you amputate yourself right now. So this is a Husqvarna made in Sweden. Is it okay if I touch your saw with this?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So what I do is I put it right up against the vise like this, and I'm going to be the opposite side. See, like this side I have to go this way, and this one I go this way. So all I'm going to do is one stroke for you. Wow. It was so sloped it wouldn't even go. Yeah, they've never been touched.
No.
I can tell they're sharp as can be. That one's not.
And when you're buying a chainsaw like this, you really have to, this is not for an amateur to go out and buy and use for one or two trees and then try to sell it, because you could really injure yourself with that much power.
This is a serious machine here. This is not a toy. Do not do this unless you've run a big saw before. I would even be afraid of this thing because this is a beast. So now we're going to go like this. So now this is where I started before, so now I'm going to go to the next one.
And do the opposite
go
side.
the opposite side. And just one stroke is all I'm going to give you. I'm just taking the tip of it off because they weren't terrible, but they were definitely sticking up a little bit. But they, you might want to go back over this once you cut and do one more stroke on each one, or maybe even two strokes. But if you're not sure, don't go too aggressive because...
Yeah, I have a gauge at home, like the one you were using earlier to check it.
Yeah.
And I usually always use the gauge. I don't try to take, some people will take the rakers down quite a bit further, but this is not a saw to do that on.
No, all done. So we did a little sharpening there. We got the saw ready to go. It's all looking pretty and everything, nice and razor sharp, so it should be great. So just be careful with it when you go to cut, because this was sharpened differently than you're probably used to.
Yep.
And you don't want to lose a leg or something like that because it's sharp now.
It's razor sharp.
So anyway, I also did a little repair job on his scrunch. I fixed it for him so he doesn't lose it in the woods. Here you go.
Thank you.
Take that home.
I've lost a few of these, and I still have yet to paint them.
You're not going to lose that one.
Nope.
So anyway, what did you think of your first day in the woodyard?
It's the best job I ever had.
That's what I thought you were going to say. So tomorrow, we're coming back, and we're going to go outside and do some actual work. It's supposed to be 14 below in the morning, so he's got some gear on. He's got my beaver hat on, so he's going to give that a try out. And tomorrow, we're going to do a whole bunch of cutting or some splitting or something.
Or whatever.
We'll do something tomorrow. So come on back between now and then. Get outside, get cutting.
Good night, Irene.
There you go.